Hello everyone, welcome to Tea&Comics. I haven't put out a video in a while because I was on vacation in South Korea over Christmas, and I'm back now. I've been back for about a week, and yeah, I'm going to do a pickups video and just share some thoughts on the comics that I picked up this week. I'm just drinking some tea here, and it's a very snowy day today in London, Ontario. Alrighty, so first, before I get into kind of the normal comics, I wanted to show off a couple things I got in Korea. So we went to a bookstore there, and they had they had a lot of trades, a lot of translated trades, but they did have a few single issues as well. And I thought about buying a trade, but I can't really read Korean, and I don't really feel like learning it all just so I can read a trade. So I just grabbed a couple of single issues. This one was for me. It's just an issue of Amazing Spider-Man from the Spider-Verse, or the prequel to Spider-Verse event from 2 years ago probably. And I actually own this comic, the English version of this comic as well, so I thought it'd be fun to kind of compare the two. But as you can see, I tweeted about this as well. But here's Spider-Man, and it's all in Korean, so it's pretty cool. And you can see it on the cover as well. And then the other book I got in Korea was actually a gift for a friend. There wasn't a huge selection there as far as the single issues, but my friend does like Miss Marvel. I think she's read the trades. So I just grabbed, this is still the packaging that it came in, but you can see that it's Korean, and this is how much it costs. So it was 2,000 won, which is about $2 American. It's a little bit cheaper, I guess, than a comic in North America, but it's also, how old is this comic? 2 or 3 years old, so it makes sense that it's not, a $4 comic. Anyway, that's the Korea comics that I picked up. This week I got not too many books, 4 or 5. I've been gone for a while, so I managed to grab some stuff from a couple weeks ago as well. So I got Superman number 37, which is part 1 of Supersons of Tomorrow. I really like Supersons. I've only read 2 issues of it, the first issue and the annual, but it just seems like a fun series. And I have read maybe 4 or 5 of these Superman comics from Tomasi and Gleason. And I like what I read. I think I read issues, 14 to maybe 18 of Superman. But anyway, I like both those things, and I figured maybe I'd try this event out. I think they're already on part 4, but I figured I would just grab part 1. There was only 1 issue of part 1 left at my local comic shop, so I figured I'd grab it, check it out. It was fun. Didn't have no spoilers, I guess, but didn't really have the Supersons in this issue. I mean, considering it's a Superman book, that's okay. I liked it just because they did a lot of I'll just kind of show, this one of the first pages. They did a lot of the story setup with a lot of the exposition and stuff that needs to happen in the story setup, but they did all of that while people were fighting. So you essentially have a fight with Batman and a fight with Superman, and during that there's kind of conversation and setting up the story. And there is some background requirement, I guess. If you look at here, it wants you to, see Detective Comics, couple issues of Detective Comics, but I managed to kind of understand what was happening without reading those issues, so it should be fine. I think I'll probably get the next issue in this. It did pique my interest, and I like kind of the Supersons, so I'll probably grab the part 2 for this. Speaking of part 2s, here is the second issue of The Demon Hell is Earth. This series, I liked the first issue. It's set up quite a few questions. It wasn't, it was a first issue, so you can't expect it to just give you everything. And I don't know much about the demon character either, so there was some stuff I was trying to figure out. Second issue, I feel the same way. I think I'm going to continue with it. I really like the art, it really pops. It's well drawn. And I don't know much about Etrigan, but I'm liking the character. He seems interesting. And yeah, I'm going to go in for issue number 3 with this. The only thing I didn't like, and this is just me being, if you've watched other videos, you can know that I'm kind of picky sometimes with stuff like this. And it doesn't take away from the issue at all. But I don't really like this new trade dress. I mean, it looked okay on here. I almost miss just like the Rebirth banners, though. This kind of almost feels like it overlaps too much into the art. And I have issue number 1 of the Demon to kind of show the difference, right? Like, look how clean that looks. Like, it's just the DC logo says number 1 of 6, the price, and then everything else is just, other than the barcode, just has the art. For this, I don't know, it's a little intrusive for me. It just covers this portion of the art. But, I mean, it's fine. It's nothing. It's just me being picky. It just looks a little less clean. Next up in my pickups is Batman White Knight number 4. This maintained the old style of cover art. So I'm glad, I guess, this miniseries didn't get an overhaul like the other one, but whatever. I like this. Like it looks clean. I just think it looks better. This issue was a little slower. A lot of like political setup. If you've been reading it, you'll know. That's a bit of a spoiler, but it's like the 3rd page, so sorry. But the art, again, it's still really well drawn. So much detail. I still love flipping through and reading it, and it still takes me a long time to get through these issues because it's just so much detail to look at. Like every scene just has so much happening. But again, it doesn't make it slow. Like it flows really well. But this one did have a lot of dialogue. Wasn't a bad thing. It was interesting. I think it was a little slower. This is when single issues, like telling a story month by month, single issue kind of falls flat a little bit because if you bought this as a trade, you don't have to wait a month to figure out what happens from here. So you could have like a story beat like this, where it goes a little bit more dialogue heavy and has a little bit more like political setup and things like that. In the trade, you could just read that and then go on to the next issue, which I'm assuming will have a bit more action than this issue did. But when you're going month by month, you end up with an issue that seems a little slower than the other ones. I still enjoyed it. It's just, as a single issue, it was just a little slower. But I still recommend this series. It's very interesting, and I'm interested to see kind of where it goes and what the characters in this book decide to do, because a lot of them are at like crossroads right now. So good stuff. I recommend that one again. Final issue that I picked up this week was Cap 697. This is Mark Waid, Chris Samnee. I like this. I don't know. Like, I really liked Mark Waid's Daredevil, and then when Chris Samnee as well, but Mark Waid, his run, like from like 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe longer, I don't really remember, about 5 years ago. There was something about it that was dark, but funny, and was able to explore kind of more obscure villains and make them interesting. It does work. I like this. I don't know. I don't want you guys to think that I don't like this book. The art is fun, and Chris Samnee really has a way to, like this pool table thing here. It's just, Chris Samnee has a way to make things flow really well and look awesome. And this whole series I find so far, the one thing I like about it, it's not like overburdened with dialogue. Waid let Samnee do a lot of the storytelling with just like visual, with just the visuals. And I like that a lot about this series. And so it makes it move very fast. And here's the last page I'll show you. It's just, right, this is all visuals in this page telling the story. And from Chris Samnee, that's great, like, because he's really good at it, as I've said. I don't know, I just haven't really hooked me. I'm going to keep buying it. I still like it. But it just hasn't hooked me in the same way that other series from Mark Waid have in the past. Anyway, that's pretty much my week for comics. Hopefully, there's a couple indies like Slots and Royal City and Bloodshot, I think, come out next week. That'll probably be my video next week. There is a sale going on in my comic shop right now as well, where I don't know, I'm tempted to go buy some graphic novels and possibly some single issues they have on sale. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it for my week. Hope you liked checking out these comics with me and talking about comics and seeing these comics from Korea. I hope that everyone had a good holidays. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.